Good evening, everybody. We will call the May 10th, 2022 Village Board meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, yeah, May 24th. My apologies. Lana, roll call, please.
Mayor DeBold,
Here.
Trustees Brockman,
Here.
Carroll,
Here.
Chapman,
Here.
Kirkland,
Here.
Luciano,
Here.
and Selfridge.
Here.
All right, everybody is here. Are there any citizens wishing to address the village board? Please just state your name at the microphone, sir.
Tony Campos. I was here on April 26th, presented the roofing issue for Lake Forest Estates, and was wondering if you guys have come up with a decision on the application for the amendment that I placed 2 months ago. And I haven't received anything from anybody here on it. I know it's a sensitive subject with citizens at that location, but I had the HOA that was voted in, the board over there that was voted in by the citizens over there. This is an HOA matter. It's a roof that I've been trying to get, and I'm about 3.5 weeks before to apply a roof. And I'd like for either the attorney or you guys to make a decision on where you stand, if you're gonna grant me the amendment or if you're not. And I need some documentation on what you guys are gonna do with it.
So let me respond with this. I know the village's attorney's been in contact with your attorney regarding this, and at this time, the village board is not gonna meander in changing an annexation. The current annexation agreement within that subdivision does state wood shake shingles. As our attorney has conveyed to your attorney in that matter, you would have to go through your HOA to get your declarations updated in that capacity. So at this time, the village is not gonna change the annexation agreement.
So I'm not asking to change the annexation agreement. I'm asking to put an amendment to the covenants.
That is beyond us.
I'm not understanding. What do you mean it's beyond you guys? This is an HOA matter. I don't understand why the village is even involved with this. They get to pick all the colors, the stuff. This is an HOA matter. I can understand if the village, and this was a commercial building, and you guys would have some kind of discretion on what the building would look like. This is definitely an HOA matter. This should never even come up to a hearing. It never should have come up to a hearing. It made it more drama when Allie put it in. I've done everything I can. I don't see where it stands right now. We were supposed to draft an amendment and hand it in. I've done everything the village has asked me to do. Get approval from the HOA. I got a letter showing that, and submit for an amendment. Not to change the annexation or to change the covenants. I realize that takes the whole community to do that. So I don't know where it states right now. If you guys can hand me something, tell me where the village stands. What if I put the roof up?
You would get a stop order and you would never receive.
On what grounds?
Because it's not an approved roof, sir.
But is it a code violation?
You're violating the agreement right now under the annexation agreement. The annexation agreement, as specified in your public hearing, clearly states wood shake shingles. That is the only one that's been documented at this time.
It's been documented.
I'm not gonna go much further beyond what we've already stated due to the fact that council has already been in contact with your council to work out those matters.
Because it's in the declaration, wood shake and tile. Your annexation is different from the HOA.
Our annexation agreement states wood shake shingles. If there's further clarification that your attorney can show the village attorney at that time.
We handed it in.
At this time, based on where our council's been with us, the village is not taking any further action on that.
Okay, thank you.
No problem, sir. Are there any other citizens wishing to address the village board? All right, we'll move into item C, our consent agenda for the evening. Item number 1 will be an approval of the regular meeting minutes for May 10th, 2022. Item number 2 will be approval of accounts payable in the amount of $696,352.49. Item number 3 will be approval of a payment in the amount of $16,314.38 to Heritage Technology Solutions for security cameras at the new Public Works facility. Number 4 will be approval of a payment in the amount of $689,589.55 to Pacific Construction Services, LLC, for work completed at the Public Works facility. Number 5 would be approval of a contracted deposit in the amount of $10,350 with Pyrotechno Fireworks Incorporated for the fireworks display at the Crossroads Festival. And finally, item number 6, approval of the final payment in the amount of $100,483.10 to Lane Christensen Company for well number 8 rehab. Are there any items a board member has a question or needs further discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion Luciano, second Selfridge. Roll call, please.
Carol,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes,
Selfridge,
Yes.
and Brockman.
Yes.
All right, the consent is approved. Move into reports and communications. We do not have any proclamations this evening. Lana, is there anything that you had received otherwise?
No, sir.
Thank you. We'll move into this evening's order of business. First up, we have a consideration for approval of the appointment of Sean Audie to the Citizens Advisory Committee as an alternate member in Section 4. Just to be a little bit further, this is a vacancy within the Citizens Advisory Committee. Trustee Luciano, which heads that committee, has brought forth Sean Audie, and I hope I'm pronouncing that appropriately, due to a vacancy that was created within that committee. So, be looking for a motion to make the appointment.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion Luciano, second Selfridge. Roll call, please.
Chapman,
Yes.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes,
Selfridge,
Yes.
Brockman,
Yes.
and Carol.
Yes.
All right, the appointment's been made. Business item number 2 will be consideration for approval of an ordinance granting a conditional use for a health and fitness use in the village of Shorewood, Will County, Illinois. This is also referred to as Shorewood Fitness. They are occupying 333 to 339 Burton Boulevard. This item is up for a first read. Trustee Brockman will lead us off.
Thank you, Mayor. 2 individuals from Shorewood Fitness approached us at our last meeting. They want to expand their business, which is always nice to hear. We did hold a public hearing. No one spoke for or against the project. It does come here with a 6-0 vote. And I'll turn this over to Edgar for some details. And before he gets started, our last planning and zoning meeting was Edgar's first. And I wanted to say he did a superb job. So it was a great evening.
Thank you.
So I put the pressure on you right away. So thank you. Any details, go right ahead.
Will do. So the gym that's located at 333 Verton Boulevard is currently about 7,000 square feet, and their intention is to combine with the storefront that's located next to them at 339 Verton Boulevard, and it is so that they can provide more amenities to their customers. So the addition is up here. You can kind of sort of see it on the screen, but basically they'll be providing a retail area, some office spaces, an office so that they could do massages during the day, and additional locker rooms for both males and females. They will be locking up the retail area so that it's not accessible during off hours from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. And regarding the massage services, they will be pursuing a massage license for that use. So staff is presenting for first read an ordinance granting a conditional use for a health and fitness facility for Shorewood Fitness and recommends waiving the second read and approval of the same.
Okay, thank you, Edgar. And I didn't know,
All 6 of them. No, go ahead. Don't-
what'd you need, trustee?
No, I was talking to the
Oh.
mayor.
Sorry, there was a little technical difficulty apparently.
Okay.
Cross-board.
I didn't know that, well, they're gonna be open 24 hours a day. that the place across from McDonald's, that fitness center, did you know that was open 24 hours? I didn't know that.
That's the same one, but they moved from
We're
there.
gonna, but
Correct.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize that was open 24 hours a
Yeah.
day. Well, anyway. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I'll make a motion to approve an ordinance granting a conditional use for health and fitness use in the village of Shorewood, Will County, and waive the second read.
I'll second.
that.
We have a motion, Brockman, second trustee Chapman. Roll call, please.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
And Chapman.
Yes.
All right, ordinance is approved for the conditional use. Item number 3, be consideration for approval of an ordinance granting conditional use for an amusement establishment in the village of Shorewood, Will County, Home Sweet Home event venue at 707 West Jefferson, Suite D. I'll turn this over to trustee Brockman again.
Thank you again, Mayor. We had a very nice couple come before us at our last meeting. They're in the house tonight. If you have any questions for them after we get done explaining the situation here, we did hold a public hearing for this also. No one spoke for or against the project. Comes here with a 6-0 vote. And Edgar, once again, please.
Right, so because Home Sweet Home Venue is requesting to do a banquet hall, the zoning in the B2 district asks for a conditional use and to do a public hearing when you want to do amusement establishments, including but not limited to bowling alleys, pool halls, dance halls, and skating rinks. So in this instance, Mr. and Mrs. Tarakovsky would like to set up in Unit D a small banquet hall. The intention is to provide a space for people from, groups between 20 and 25 to rent it and do small gatherings, banquet halls, banquet gatherings, those kinds like birthday parties or baptismals, etc. The basic layout's pretty basic. They will be providing a second bathroom, and it will be just an open space where people can rent equipment from Mr. and Mrs. Tarakovsky's business, tables and chairs, and then they will also offer a decorating package. And the intention is to not provide food or alcohol on site. People can bring that in themselves. I don't know about the alcohol portion if Mr. Tarakovsky is interested in doing that, but as far as I know, he isn't. So this conditional use is just simply for the banquet hall use. And then real quickly, my apologies, but do I read staff recommendation when I'm done?
Yes.
Okay. So our staff is presenting for first read an ordinance granting a conditional use for an amusement establishment and recommends waiving the second read and approval of the same.
Okay, thank you.
And if the board has any questions, the folks that are representing the 707 property are here to ask any additional questions. With that, are you guys storing any of the tables, chairs, props, or anything that's needed there, or is it just kind of providing general space?
We would leave the tables and chairs there. I do have like just different things that people could rent for parties, like backdrops, things like that. That I would probably bring back home.
Sure.
Just leave basic space so people can see it just, as is.
Let your mind be the creative aspect of that.
They can choose to, just see it basic, and if they want to decorate, if they want to design, or they want me to do it. So I'll just offer different packages, but everything besides tables and chairs would go with us. Because I believe there's no storage there because we're adding the second bathroom.
Sure.
Is 25 the maximum capacity because of the space, or?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So it would just be for like small
I know you
showers, birthday parties, things like that.
Okay.
I know you probably already set this up, but there's an age limit to rent the space. You have to have an adult rent it, is that correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Is there anything to prevent them people coming in, bringing in alcohol? Do we have a problem with that?
We've actually been trying to get in contact with somebody to find out if, how it would go. If somebody does want to bring alcohol in, do I need an alcohol license permanently, or can it be something that we can apply for as need basis?
They apply for it as they go.
Yeah, I would imagine it, but generally, and legal can maybe guide me a little more, that's gonna be required if you're doing it, but there's probably more of a generalized permit we could, if they were just, they're not providing it though.
No,
It's just
we're not.
people bringing it in.
I'd like to take a closer look at that before I
Yeah,
give an opinion.
we can get you further information on that, but just in regards to the way the space is being prevented, just as a occupancy space,
Right.
you know, to get you guys going in that capacity would be great for, I think would be a great option for everybody. In regards to that, we can further discuss and get you clarification in regards to alcohol in or out of the facility.
Perfect.
If that's a fair statement for everybody.
Yeah.
Did they come in with the hours that they would be open?
It would basically be, for instance, if somebody wanted to rent it on a Saturday morning for a baby shower, they could rent it for a block of time. And then if somebody needed it in the afternoon, I would just have to go and clean, sanitize for the afternoon. So I'm hoping it's received very well by the community. And
Well,
Late night.
I'd be more interested in if it was like a wedding reception and open till when?
Do you have a cap as to when you're gonna cut it off as an
No,
end time?
I didn't even think of, because the space is not that large, so I didn't
Sure.
actually think anybody would do that.
But a lot of that stuff's gonna have to be spelled out
Yeah, okay.
because of the alcohol,
Right.
okay?
Oh, okay, okay.
Don't we have that on our application when you apply for a business, what hours you're gonna be open?
I think we have a little further on that.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Don't we have on our application for license, business license, the hours of the business?
I'm not I'm not sure if we do. I think we do.
It was?
I'm sorry, I did put on there we were gonna try to operate, I'm trying to let her do the speaking.
You're fine, sir.
Speak
I
up.
did write on there we were gonna try to do from like earliest at 6 in the morning, but I don't like getting up that early, so. Especially on a Saturday, but.
Sure.
You know, I'd rather, what people want, but who's gonna do a party at 6 in the morning too often? And I was gonna try to cap it off at 10 o'clock at night.
I think that's a fair, I believe the only other business in there would be Rosati's or Subway's in that plaza. And I think they're wrapped up around that
Dairy
10-ish.
Queen closes at 10,
Yeah.
10.
So that way, at least you would be consistent with the other businesses within the facility.
And we might not know exactly who's always renting it, we wanna try to be friendly. If we know it's gonna be someone trying to throw a rave party or something, we're not gonna rent it, cause
I understand.
I don't
Yeah.
wanna be.
And of course, if that's the case, you guys are coming back anyway to close up the facility anyway?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I would be coming up in to close, clean
Lock up.
everything, lock up everything. Mhm.
So is anticipating a 10 o'clock-ish, no later than probably 11, a reasonable expectation of hours of operation for ending? Is that a fair statement?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions?
Do you want the alcohol question answered first before we go ahead with
It's-
this?
No, we can, right now, it's just being presented. It's just being presented for a conditional use as Edgar explained, as a banquet facility. So at this time, as long as they're in the understanding that alcohol is probably not the best thing to move in there until we get clarification for them so they have the proper licensing, we could move forward with granting conditional use if the board chooses.
Okay. Why don't I make a motion to approve an ordinance granting a conditional use for an amusement establishment in the village of Shorewood, home suite home event, venue, 707 West Jefferson, and waive the second reading.
Second.
Motion Brockman, second Carroll. Roll call, please.
Luciano,
Yes?
Selfridge,
Yes.
Brockman,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
and Kirkland.
Yes.
All right, the conditional use is approved, and as we said, just we'll follow up and make sure we get in clarification as you start, before you get booking that for regards to who's bringing alcohol in, so you have the appropriate permits.
Perfect, thank you.
No problem, folks, thank you. Item number 4 would be consideration for approval of an ordinance amending Title 10 of the Village of Shorewood regarding subdivision entry and identification signage. This item is also up for a first read. Trustee Brockman.
Thank you again, Mayor. This came before our last meeting. Again, we had a public hearing on it. No one spoke for or against it. 6-0 vote comes before you for approval. And if you turn to page 2 of this, there was 2 amendments and current language and proposed language, and that's what it boils down to is what we're looking at here. So Edgar, you want to give us some details on that, please?
Will do. So the village's sign regulations located in the zoning ordinance, they were written in 2003. And there's been sign code amendments throughout the years. The subdivision sign regulations have never had any substantial updates. So we recently received a request for a new subdivision sign for a hunt club. When we reviewed the application, we identified some challenges in the ordinance, and so we're proposing this text amendment to address them. So up on the screen is the current requirements for subdivision entry and identification signs. They basically need to be located in easements with provisions for maintenance, not have more than 20 square feet of message area, not exceed 100 square feet in total area, not exceed 6 feet in height, have landscaping around the base, be located at least 20 feet from any driveway, and be located on corner lots, which have a minimum of 100 frontages measured at the building setback line, be constructed of a brick, stone, or masonry material in conjunction with wrought iron, include lettering, ornaments, or other graphics on the structure constructed of stone, wrought iron, or anodized aluminum, and be reviewed by the Planning and Zoning Commission, then approved by the Village Board. So the amendments that we're proposing, the first one is simply to just strike corner from this section that we have indicated here, so that it reads, structures shall only be permitted on lots which have a minimum of 100-foot frontages measured at the building setback line. So this gives more flexibility to place these signs perhaps in areas that are not located in corner lots, but that are better suited to be receptive of signage that indicates the entryway to our subdivision. And amendment number 2, we're proposing to modify the language in section 10-10-7B1F so that we can allow carved or sandblasted wood signs in less visible locations. It gives us the ability to use wood signs and eliminates some confusion in language. So that the new language reads, signs and structures located along Brookforest Avenue, Cottage Street, Black Road, Verton Boulevard, River Road, Jefferson Street, Sale Road, and Mound Road may only be constructed of a brick, stone, or other masonry material. Lettering, ornaments, or other graphics on the structure must be stone, wrought iron, or anodized aluminum. In addition to the materials listed above, wood carved and sandblasted wood signs may be installed along other village roadways. Here are some examples of some signs that we're proposing. It shows the kinds of signs that we're trying to accept trying to do the amendments in the sign ordinance so that we can accept these kinds of signs. If approved, we would be able to do these kinds of signs on secondary streets such as those in the photos below. Additionally, the signs can be located on an interior lot, such as between 2 subdivisions, and would not have to be on a corner lot. So our recommendation is to approve petition 22-444 for a zoning ordinance text amendment regarding subdivision entry and identification signage.
And so everybody's aware, I don't think it popped up on Edgar's slide. On amendment number 2, there was a bit of clarification that came out of planning and zoning. In the proposed language, it does state signs and sign structures located along arterial and collector roadways, including, just to give us references as to why Brook Forest Avenue, Cottage were on there. So that way we had a little more definitive clarification as to type of roadways that were being referenced. So I know that was a minor omission, but it is in everybody's packets.
Right. And the intention for that was just to make it easier, again, make it more flexible to place these signs in the best possible location to indicate the entryway to the subdivisions.
Unless there's any additional questions for Edgar or Trustee Brockman, I'm sure they'll be happy to field them for you.
If I can. If not, make a motion to approve ordinance amending Title 10 of Shorewood Village Code regarding subdivision entry and identification signage, and again, waive the second read.
Second.
Motion Brockman, second Kirkland. Roll call, please.
Selfridge,
Yes.
Brockman,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Kirkland.
Yes.
And Luciano.
Yes.
All right, the amendment has been entered. Moving on to item number 5 will be consideration for approval of a resolution approving a subdivision sign for the Hunt Club. Turn this over to trustee Brockman.
Thank you again, Mayor. I've been wanting to do this for probably 10 or 12 years, and brought it before Karen James originally, and she denied me, and Kelly Chrissy second. And I want to thank Natalie, because she looked into it, and that's why we had this ordinance just before here approved. With our slim budget we have in the Hunt Club, that's hard to get anything, built, so we looked at a sandblasted sign. It looks good. I ran it by Noriel, where were we going to put it at, and it's going to be fine there. So, Edgar, if you have any other things you want to say about it, go right ahead, please.
Sure, absolutely. So pretty much, quickly, the existing signage, so when the Hunt Club subdivision was developed, entryway architectural walls and signage were installed coming into the subdivision from River Road. Signs were erected at the intersections of River Road and Hunter Drive and River Road and Ranchwood Drive. The proposed sign will be located along Cambridge Lane, where the Hunt Club meets up with the Vintage. And I have a mock-up here of where exactly it will be placed. It will go on a open lot. It's owned by the village and it's used for stormwater management. It would be situated so that it does not interfere with any of the infrastructure on the site. The sign itself is pretty standard. It conforms to the amendment that we just did before this petition. It is about 4 feet by 3 feet in size, and it's about 5 feet tall. It will be landscaped with 4 bushes. The name of the bushes escapes me, my apologies. And I believe it will also be sandblasted.
They're going to be boxwoods,
Boxwoods, okay.
if it's approved.
So
Get ahead of ourselves.
they would like to enter an agreement whereby they would be required to maintain the sign and the surrounding landscaping. So in order to accommodate the sign, we needed to do the zoning ordinance text amendment, which we just did, and then now we are proposing this for approval. So our staff recommendation is, our staff is presenting a resolution approving a subdivision sign for the Hunt Club and recommends approval of the same.
I would move to approve a resolution approving a subdivision sign for Hunt Club.
Second.
Motion Kirkland, second Carroll. Roll call, please.
Brockman,
Pass.
Carroll,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Luciano,
Yes.
and Selfridge.
Yes.
All right, the resolution's approved. Item number 6 will be consideration for approval of a contract to Grundfos CBS Incorporated for the Sile Road Lift Station Pump Number 3 replacement in the amount of $46,259 and waive the bid process. Public Works Director Noriel Noriega is here with that topic.
Thank you, Mayor. So we have an emergency over at Sile Road Lift Station. There's a pump that's down. That lift station carries and conveys approximately 75% of our wastewater over to the Shorewood treatment. The pump itself, we've had preventive maintenance done on it. It's approximately only 6 years old. The pump has a board terminal that has melted over the motor housing. And that housing also, the main bearing shaft also broke. So when staff discovered this just a couple months ago, we started researching on how much it would cost for repair of the. Sorry about that. So we were looking into cost of the repair of the pump itself, and it was a little over $22,000 for just the repair on a 6-year-old pump. So we started investigating about how much a replacement would be. So we looked into 2 different pump manufacturers. One is Grundfos, which we used both at the fields, and we also used over at the River Road lift station just last year as for our replacements there. Flight, the Xylem Water Solutions is, the price is $63,000. Grundfos is $46,259. So an emergency replacement, staff is recommending that we award the contract to Grundfos in the amount of $46,259 for the pump replacement at Sile Road Lift Station, and we are requesting to also waive the bid process. Any questions?
How long do these pumps normally last?
We like to say approximately 15 years.
So there was no like warranty or anything left on this one, even though it was only 6, because I noticed you said only 6 years old a couple times, so like Scott, I was gonna ask how long do they normally last, so.
It usually lasts around 15 years. We went through this last year where all of our 3 pumps at the River Road Station were failing at approximately the same time. We were debating over on our end. We had good feedback from our preventive maintenance when we pulled them in 2020. We also pulled it in 2021, just again, routine maintenance. So we were thinking on our end that we might be able to get another year before we recommend replacement. For us here at Public Works, we have 3 pumps. We don't want all 3 pumps going bad at the same time. So our recommendation would have been to replace this pump maybe next year when we budget allows, have this, put it on the shelf, that'll become our backup pump. We're not in that situation right now. We have one, it just went bad. We suspect there's outside factors that may have melted the terminal board and caused this issue, but a lot of it is suspecting where. But what is alarming to us was the $22,000 bill just for the repair. So we looked into a full replacement, and we looked into both Grundfos and the Flight. Flight was a little too expensive, $63,000. We're comfortable with Grundfos. We use that at our River Road for $46,000. So we like that pump so far. Knock on wood.
If this item's approved, what's the availability and the timeline to install?
Right now, the Grundfos is 4 to 6 weeks for delivery upon order and approval. The Flight, if we consider that as an option, is approximately 18 weeks for delivery. Grundfos also has a prorated 60-month warranty where Flight pumps only have a 1-year warranty.
Is the pump and the motor shot?
The pump is terminal, it's the motor that is shot. We are keeping the Flight for extra parts.
Well, what I'm asking is we can't just purchase the motor, or is that the motor purchase only?
The motor purchase for the Flight is the $22,000.
About half the total. I don't know,
But if we do the repair, it's approximately 12 to 18 weeks for the repair because of parts availability.
now excuse me here, but just to change the motor and the control board, because you say the power board was burned out on it?
The terminal board, I'll read it to you.
Yeah. Now, where the capacitor is and all that stuff, was that
Yeah, this is
area that was
getting a
burned
little
out?
technical above me a little bit, but so the product surface, I have it available from Xylem, who looked at our pump and motor that went bad. Tested pump, and it measures bad, and the ohms are good. The terminal board is melted to the terminal board is melted to the motor housing. The stator windings are burned up at the top of the stator, main bearings seized into housing which broke. That was the report that we received when we had the issue with the pump. And that was the investigation from the manufacturer.
Okay. So what's,
Whatever.
what's the recommendation? To change everything and keep the pump on hand as spares?
Correct. So the recommendation we have is to purchase a new pump and motor for pump number 3, which is a Grunfos brand. Then we will keep the pump on hand and then look into using it for future parts if needed, for the other 2 pumps, because we're still keeping the 2 pumps that are existing as flight. We can consider repairing it in the future, not in an emergency type situation. Look into a possible budget next year, so at least we have a backup for our system, because we do not have any backup pumps for the system right now.
Yeah, I don't mean to push this any further, but if the motor change out is all we need, wouldn't we think that we could get a motor in here a lot quicker, because there's a lot of universal motors out there that it wouldn't be exactly like that pump. I don't know how many stages that pump has, but
Yeah.
to pull the whole thing out is a lot of work. To take the motor out and replace the motors, not that much work. So,
A little bit above me on this.
yeah.
So, reviewing with our staff, the recommendation that we're gonna stay with is to continue to remove and replace the entire motor and pump and replace it with a Grunfos. The repair of just the motor part is a $22,000 bill, which is estimated approximately 12 to 18 weeks. And that would be done by Xylem in the amount of $22,000.
Okay.
Can we do both?
What's that?
Repair the motor routinely and, and have it as the spare.
I think that's what he mentioned.
And that's what I would like to do. So
He wants to do
The
the
motor
repair in the
sounds like
future.
it's shot.
Huh?
We were gonna
motor's
put the motor
burned
on
up.
next year's
Yeah.
budget, though, to not have it, because none of this is budgeted. So when they came to me, we talked about this, we talked with staff. We need to get another motor, because this is getting to be our heavy season with all the rains and everything. And we don't wanna have discharges and other things. So we wanted to get a working pump. This is the shortest amount of time to get a pump. It has a longer warranty, and then we can worry about repairing this thing next year.
Okay.
You mentioned there was things that led to it. Did they figure out what that was, and are those remediated?
we suspect that there were voltage spikes. So we're looking into opportunities for that.
Prior to the new pump going in?
Right, but we don't have any data, that was collected that could tell us whether or not that's true. So we don't know, again, a lot of this is just we are just suspecting issues, because this is not a normal, a concern that normally happens.
Do those pumps have surge protection on them now?
No.
I believe so,
They do?
I think so. I can't confidently answer that. I believe we have the protections there, but something else happened on the outside that we can't understand why it caused the terminal board to melt.
Would the warranty on the new one cover instances like this?
It is a prorated limited warranty. I do know that part of the prorated limited warranty, there's percentages, so that if something were to have failed, for the first year, they cover parts and labor. The second year, there's a percentage of parts and labor. It's not a full 100%, but there are a number of different factors that, for the pump itself and the motor, if there are something that is deemed that is under manufacturer warranty, they would include it. But if it's something on the outside, I'm sure there would be concerns. But then we would be able to enjoy or at least take advantage of the discounted pricing on the labor and the parts.
So the motor has a separate warranty from the pump?
I'll have to get back to you on that.
Is that, nothing's operating there right now?
We have 2 pumps that are currently operating.
On that one, the station you're talking about?
Correct. We have 3 pumps that operate at 2 at a time. They go through a rotation. So for example, pump 1 and pump number 2 would operate. They go through its cycle. Then the next round, it would be pump 2 and 3. And then the following cycle would be pump number 1 and number 3. So right now, with 1 pump missing, 2 are still keeping up with the demand.
So how much damage would it do to the 2 pumps remaining if we were waiting to repair the motor?
Normal wear and tear.
6 years old. They're good for 15 years. That's, to replace both units, and I don't mean to keep going with this thing, but it's not in the budget, so 22,000. I'm thinking of the timing. If a motor can be ordered and brought in here and put into place and give us the 3rd pump within a couple of weeks, because we all know what that lift station does. I mean, can I say this? The lift station doesn't need to go out, okay? Or we could have
A mess.
a mess on our hands, okay? So the sooner we get an operational pump, the more comfortable I would be, I think, and the board members would be, if that meant to get just the electric pump, and not the pump, the electric motor, and get it in here and put it in place, and then talk later about maybe ordering a pump. But there's 3 pumps in there now. I mean, they can go out anytime. Where right now, what needs to be repaired, I don't change the transmission in a car if just the engine needs to be changed. Okay? I mean, just because they're hooked together, it's not like we need it.
But I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, the timing to do the motor was how long to replace the motor?
12 to 18 weeks, provided the repair estimate from Xylem.
Just to repair the motor is 12 to 18 weeks.
Yes, sir.
I thought you were buying a new motor.
Is that right?
Let's see.
Hang on. I just want to touch on a couple of different aspects, yeah.
Yeah.
So just to repair the motor is 12 to 18 weeks at a price tag of about $22,000.
$22,000.
If we buy Grundfos, can get a new one, pump and motor for $46,000.
Correct.
And how long?
And that
Sooner,
timeline
right?
was 4 to 6 weeks?
4 to 6.
Okay. Just to try to help streamline so we're
Yeah,
hearing all the
I'm not
information.
sure I'm buying that, okay?
Is Trustee
There's
Chapman-
motors all over the country.
Is he saying that we could buy a motor? Is that what you're saying, that we can buy a motor, Rick?
Yeah,
So it takes
Repair a motor.
12 weweeks to get a motor?
To
It
repair
says
the
a
motor,
repair a
right?
motor.
It's repair it, right? Not buy it.
It is for the repair. So my assumption is when we make the repair using the brand name for Flight, for the amount of $22,000, that's the cost for their brand motor. We did not shop around for other brand motors to be able to use on the Flight pump.
Could we just buy a motor? That's what I'm asking. Not have it repaired, just buy one.
I would have to ask the smarter people, the experts. We looked into 3 options here. The first option is the repair. So we went with the same manufacturer, Flight, Xylem. The Xylem Water Solutions that you see here, the repair is $22,000. So the repair of that motor part, that's a $22,000 bill, 12 to 18 weeks for that repair to be completed. So we asked how much for a brand new one, because we were not expecting $22,000 for a bill. Brand new Xylem pump motor, the whole unit, 18-week delivery, $63,000. We didn't like that answer either, so we went with and shopped at Grundfos. That's pump motor installed, $46,000. We would like to still consider in the future, which is not anything that is up for tonight, but not an emergency situation, but as a budget process, to then make the repair possibly next year under budget so that we do have a backup. But that'll be for consideration in the future. I'm recommending Grundfos for a full replacement for pump number 3. And then we will continue to have the 2 other pumps operating still flights as designed. It'll just be the 3rd pump is the Grundfos version.
If one of the other 2 go out, we're gonna be in the same boat.
That's correct. That would be the same boat over at River Road, that would be the same boat over at Fields. We don't have any backup scenarios yet for any of the lift stations.
You may have seen when you went on Black Road that the Broncliff Station, they've had 2
Generators.
Sunbelt pumps there for what?
A year and a half?
And they just approved the other night at their board meeting, I think over $300,000 to get that back online is what they're gonna pay for that lift station, $300,000. So,
They vacuum trucking?
huh?
Are they trucking it out of there?
No, they're pumping it, they're forcing it down the force main out the west plant.
No.
But evidently, all their pumps must have went out and that, because they've got two pumps there, Sunbelt pumps. So,
Well, the alternative is not good if we
Right.
don't do something, so. I mean, I agree that we should just get the motor, but the alternative is, I think we have to go to whole 9 yards.
Take a motion if that's the case.
Can we ask that
Sure.
we get a quote for the motor? A new motor, not the repair, and for a later date,
Yeah.
without holding this up, but
Well, we would be holding this up though,
No. I think trustee Carroll's referring to getting,
for down the road?
downing the road to
Oh,
get
okay.
another
we
one.
made it, well, at least we'll have a spare, because if the other, one of the other 2 go out, we're in the same boat again.
Right.
But for now, let's take the task at hand here and,
I make a motion to approve a contract to Grundfos CBS Inc. for Sile Road Lift Station Pump Number 3, replacement in the amount of $46,259, and waive the bid process.
Second.
motion by Kirkland, seconded by Luciano. Roll call, please.
Carol,
Yes.
Chapman,
No.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Luciano,
Yes.
Selfridge,
yes.
and Brockman.
Yes.
All right. Get the pump replaced, and then let's work on getting some additional pricing to get a spare back on that shelf, so we're not put in the,
More than one spare.
well, we can at least get the one going at a better rate, and then we can at least be a little more preventative on this.
Yep.
Maybe also see if there's other shops that can repair that motor in less than time than the other one was.
Yes, sir.
I just,
There's plenty of shops
I want to
out there.
qualify my no vote.
Sure.
Is I've been doing this 37 years, and we replace all kinds of electric motors on operational pumps. And they come in from everywhere. Fact is, you don't shut something like a refinery down for the lack of a motor. You go all over the country and you find that horsepower, that in all the specifications, because there's motors all over there. You know, General Electric builds them just constantly. And,
Were you privy to the price of these things?
well, yeah, but it's
For the
been
place
20
that's-
years.
For the place
okay.
that's making $4 million a day?
Stuff going on right now.
With them?
Yeah, with mobile. I mean, they're
Let's-
making $4 million a day. Were you privy to the price of, I mean, they don't care what they pay for the price or for the motor pump.
No. I used to do some of the purchasing. and
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
They're tight. They're laying off right now, so you might as well understand.
All right, so
they're in
we'll,
trouble.
trustee Chapman expressed his concerns in regards to that. Public Works Director Noriega will get a little further information about getting this repaired and sourcing something to see if he can find something in a more timely manner as well. We can have a spare ready to go. With that, we'll move into item number F, which puts us into our trustee comment section. Move over to trustee Brockman.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I had to write stuff down here, so I hope you'll bear with me.
Sure.
First, I want to thank all the board for getting my sign approval, because I've been needing that for a long time. Sunday, I called Eric Allen for a wellness check on one of our residents in my subdivision. The grass hadn't been mowed in this year yet. So maybe there was something wrong with the guy. So I called him at 10 o'clock. He got back to me at 10:30, one of their officers. Now, that's pretty fast. And everything was fine. He just doesn't care. So then I got a hold of Mark on Monday and got the gears in motion there. But fortunately, on Monday, we found some tough kids that went and mowed the grass 4 times to get it down, and looks good. So appreciate it, Mark. And Chief, if you'll give Eric my thank you as well, please. And first, I want to commend Noriel and Jock for making a wonderful decision of pulling that pump and motor and out of well 8 and getting that all fixed for us, because I think he had $480,000 for the budget and he spent $272. So we got $200 to go toward Grundfos right now.
That takes care of that.
Yeah,
Can I change my vote now?
No.
Too late.
So thank you, Noriel. Tell Jock as well. Second, when that storage facility came in out here on County Line Road to planning and zoning, it came at April of 2021. Attorney Kramer came before us and indicated that he had a deal with the landowner that the 20 acres at the northwest corner of 52 and County Line would never have corn again. Well, guess what? Corn's up. So I don't know, counsel, if you know Kramer, is he a man of his word or what?
Dan Kramer?
Dan Kramer.
As far as I know, yeah.
Because here we go, we got corn, and when he brought this forward, the pandemic was going on, so there was only about 20% of the cars on the road that there is now. That corner is going to be deadly all summer.
Maybe this is outside of his expertise in terms of
Just want to let everybody know that. And finally, we lost a good friend of the village about 2 weeks ago, Bob Fitzer. He was a few days short of 98 years old, had farmland in the village that he farmed all his life. He and his wife, Jean, would have celebrated their 78th year of marriage this coming October. And I know Trustee Chapman, you knew him well.
Very, very well.
Yep. And he was always interested in what was going on in the village, and he let you know it. So
He spent some time over here in our conference room.
yes, he did.
Yeah.
So he'll surely be missed, and thank you for.
Beaten on the TV screen.
Okay, thank you. That's my report.
No problem. Trustee Carroll.
I just want to compliment Public Works for the work being done out here in the town center there. Even though I wasn't in favor of concrete, it is looking pretty good out there. It looks like you're just about done. I went by there before I came in, looking good.
Is that it?
Yeah.
No problem. Trustee Chapman.
You know, something to do for the public is Representative Batnick has a House bill in front of Springfield down there to cap the gasoline sales tax. The state, unlike us, we're a hard number, just that we put on gasoline. It's a solid number, where they do it by sales tax. So there's 6.7% sales tax on the gasoline. As gasoline continues to go up, pretty soon the tax alone is going to be 50 cents just to the state. And it would be a good thing if he's our rep, if this board were to put together a resolution backing his push on this House bill. And that way, he gets a little more meat. When he stands up in front, he says, well, I got a resolution from Shorewood, I got and maybe some of the other communities will kick in. So, I mean, it's a resolution that we could vote on, but I would ask the legal department, along with the administrator, to present a resolution in support of that House bill. I don't know the number, but you guys can look it up. He's put it in, so.
Yeah, we'll make certain we reach out to Representative Batnick and find out what specifics he may need in it and
Yeah.
find out what
I
he's
don't think
looking
he
for.
needs much except a full vote. Because you could be talking immediately upon passage of that bill, cutting gasoline at the pump by 30 cents, which is significant to the people who aren't making the kind of money that's going around, right? So, at any rate, that's all I had.
No, we'll make certain we reach out to Representative Batnick as well. Thank you. Trustee Kirkland.
I have nothing, thank you.
Okay. Trustee Luciano.
I just want to mention that we have the Citizens Advisory Committee meeting this Thursday here at the Village Hall at 7 o'clock. Anyone interested in getting involved with the committee can contact myself or other committee members, and our email addresses are all on the village website. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you. Trustee Selfridge.
No comment. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. With that, I'll take a motion to move into executive session to discuss land acquisition, sale or lease of real estate owned by the village and personnel to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees and collective negotiation matters between the village and its employees.
I motion to move to executive session.
Second.
Motion Selfridge, second Carroll. Roll call, please.
Chapman,
Yes.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Luciano,
Yes.
Selfridge,
Yes.
Brockman,
Yes.
and Carroll.
Yes.
All right, in executive, we are going to go over to the large conference room. All right, we'll call our meeting back to order, and the last agenda item that we have is a consideration for approval of a resolution approving and authorizing execution of a lease agreement between the Village of Shorewood and Deconstruction and Illinois Corporation. As we've discussed, a couple different meetings through here, that was regarding the lease of the property out there for this project, and in regards, there's rents, a road improvement, and they would be, any taxation of the property would fall on the leasee. Is there any other further questions in regards to that topic?
I move to approve a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a lease agreement by and between the Village of Shorewood and Deconstruction, Inc. and Illinois Corporation.
I'll second.
Motion Kirkland, second Selfridge, roll call, please.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
And Chapman.
Yes.
And I think because it's land,
It's a 3/4 vote of the corporate authorities, which includes the
So-
mayor, so.
Lana, just include me on the roll, please, and that's a yes.
Okay, thank you.
With that, take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion Kirkland, second Carroll, roll call, please.
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
And Kirkland.
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Sorry for the longer.